Hello Trinell, how are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Excellent. I've got a little card trick for you. Now, I don't know, have you seen many card tricks before?
A couple.
A couple of card tricks, that makes sense. Well, before people did card tricks with cards, they were actually used for sort of fortune telling before. Even before tarot cards were used for fortune telling. And this is because playing cards have a lot of similarities with the kind of, with the calendar, I guess you'd say. In that there's 4 suits and there's 4 seasons. And there's 52 cards in a deck and 52 weeks in a year. And if you add up all the numbers on the deck of cards, it adds up to 365, which is the days in a year. So it's all kind of tied together with the whole calendar and your star sign and that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to try and do, a little trick with that. So we'll start off by I'll leave them here. And I've also got a little handy card here with your star signs on there. So what I'd like you to do is to have a look for your star sign on the list. You know your star sign, yeah? Mm-hmm. And I want you to take that number of cards off the top of the deck. So I'm Gemini, so I would take 5 cards, and you can hide them in the card box if you like. Okay. But I'll turn away while you do that, and I'll try not to listen very hard as well, just so I can't hear how many cards you take. And then just tuck them into the card box or into a pocket, anything you like, and give me a shout when you're ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock and roll.
All right, perfect. There we go. So I'm going to give these a little cut. Now, obviously, we don't need an entire pack for this, but what we're going to basically do is now use your number to find your lucky card. Have you ever had a lucky card before?
No.
No? So this is a new experience. All right, awesome. So we're going to need 12 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And what will happen is we're going to deal them out into a little chart. So this would be number 1, this would be number 2, this would be number 3. We're going to do it like a clock, basically. 4, that would be 5, that would be 6, and 7 here. That would be 8. This would be 9, 10, 11, and 12. So what we're going to do is count round to find out what your lucky card is. Now, obviously, we've not met before, but I would have, and I'm not very good at all this kind of thing normally, but I would have said you struck me as a sort of Virgo. I'd have said you were a Virgo, is that right?
Yes.
It is, okay. So if you're a Virgo, your lucky number is 8, so we would count around as if this was a clock to the 8th card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 would take us here, right? Okay. So your lucky card from now, for all time, is, in this case, the 7 of clubs. I had a feeling it would be the 7 of clubs, Trinell. I had a feeling I'd meet a Virgo today, and I had a feeling that the lucky card would be the 7 of clubs, because this isn't just a little card, it's actually an envelope. And inside the envelope is a single card from a different deck. Could you take it out for me and show everybody at home? It is your lucky card, the 7 of clubs. Well, that was fate, but you say, you know, you've heard the saying that some things are written in the stars, and that means that they're fated and they're always going to come true. Mm-hmm. That was true of your lucky card because it was the only result you could have had. It was all written in the stars from before we began.
Nice.
So let's take a look at what you need to do the zodiac trick. For a start, you've got a very groovy little black envelope with a little sticker on here, which shows all the star signs and the numbers on them as well. Inside there, you're going to have a single regular card from an unusual deck. So we've got the 7 of clubs in this case. That sits in your little envelope. And then you've got your deck of cards. So your deck is basically consists of half a regular deck and then half a blank-faced deck with regular backs. So that's your normal half, you don't have to worry about those. And then I've got, let me take that one out a moment. Then I've got 26 or so blank-faced cards with red backs that match these. And then to set up for the trick, you've also got a 7 of clubs here, which is actually marked. And it's very, very, well, I say it's very subtle. It seems really obvious to me, but it might seem subtle compared to other marking systems. But on the bicycle cards, there's normally these little flowers at the top and bottom, and all I've done is coloured in the middle of the dot with a little red pen. So that's basically it. So to set up, all you need to do is you count off 12 cards. You go 3, 6, 9, I've got 12 of my blank cards. I put the 7 of clubs on my false card in, so it's 13th from the top. and then just reassemble everything so that you've got your regular cards on the front and your blank stock at the back that's got your false card in the center. And as long as you've got that deck with you, and of course you don't have to just do the Zodiac trick with this pack, you've got half a deck to work with, so you could put in any packet tricks, or make sure you've got 4 aces in there for the daily trick or for the twisting the aces, and then you can get a couple of tricks out of the same deck, which I strongly recommend doing. But as long as you've got the deck on you and your little envelope with the star signs and the card, then you are ready to rock and roll. So let's take a look at the performance. So now you're ready to perform the Zodiac trick. So you can start off by doing any false shuffle that retains the top half of the deck. So I typically do this swing cut false shuffle. So where you swing cut off a big chunk of the cards, take them in your left hand, flip the section over, and then shuffle the rest on top. This is good because it shows the faces, and it's also easy enough to be done without looking at your hands, and it's quite convincing. So always start off with something like that. Then you drop the deck down, you do your presentation about how the deck is similar to the calendar, and you're basically trying to tie the deck loosely to astrology as much as you can to kind of justify why the cards are even there. So you say about the weeks in the year being the same number as the amount of cards, and the 4 suits for the 4 seasons, and the spots add up to 365, which I don't think they do, but it's close enough. No one's going to sit there and count. And then you bring out your envelope. I don't make any reference to it being an envelope just yet. I like the prediction to be a bit of a surprise. So I just say I've got a little card with the star signs on, and we're going to work you out a lucky card in the way that fortune tellers might have done before. So look up your star sign, and what I want you to do is remove that number of cards from the deck and put them in your pocket. So we're going to do just, well, actually, I'll just cut off a small chunk at random, and then we'll discover together what that is. So you'll see how it works. So they hide some packet of cards in the card box that you don't know anything about, and then you turn back round when they're done. So you can now do a false cut. I like to do the Jose cut, which is very, very easy. You cut about 1/3 of the cards to your left, 1/3 of the cards go in the middle, the last lot go to the right, and you stack them up from left to right. Just do that casually as you're chatting to them, and you say, now we're going to do like an astral chart, which will look like a clock. So we only need 12 cards. So you deal 12 cards from the top of the deck onto the table to reverse their order. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At this point, I like to flash the rest of the deck briefly. So we've, just as I say, so we've got 12 random cards. We don't need all these. And I'm just showing that they're all different. And then I pocket them to get them out of the way, because you don't want them in the, at the climax when everything's revealed to be blank. It's nice if they're already in your pocket. So then you pick up the packet, and we're going to make a clock face for your spectator. So if your spectator's sitting opposite you, then you build the clock that way round, so that what the 1 o'clock would be right for them. If the spectator's sitting facing you, like we had in the performance here, then you do it the other way round. So let's say my spectator's sitting opposite me. I say what we're going to do is deal these out into a chart, like a clock, basically. So you take the first card and deal it in position 1. And the second one at 2, and the third one at 3. And to help with the counting, I always up jog the ones on 3 like you would on a clock anyway, so it's much clearer. And also what we're doing here is we're looking out for our marked card, because when we deal them down, we go 4, so none of these are marked so far, but the 5th card is my marked one. And that tells me, because of the mechanics of the false that we're using, which is the clock trick, the clock false, that card is at position 5, which means that my spectator must have taken 5 cards, which tells me that they're a Gemini. So you now already know their star sign. But you don't reveal it yet, obviously. So we carry on dealing out the rest of the charts. You say that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now what you've got here is a strong moment where you're just going to reveal their star sign. There's been enough misdirection, time misdirection, for them to really forget about the procedure. And what I like about this is normally revealing the star sign is the end of a trick, particularly for mentalists who use the progressive anagrams or verbal ways of trying to reveal a star sign. Here it's a direct hit, and it's just the first phase, and you can deliver it really casually, which is really disarming. So I obviously know that they've taken 5 cards, because that's the position my marked card is. I know they're a Gemini. If you haven't memorized the list, you can just look at the list casually as you say, we're now going to find out what your lucky card is. So you say, so I have the feeling with you that you were the same as me, you were a Gemini. and you'll get a big reaction from this. And you say, well, as you're a Gemini, Gemini is number 5, so that means your lucky card will be at the 1 at position number 5. So count round. I always count myself because you don't want spectators starting here thinking this is 1 or any sort of confusion. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 takes us to here. This will be your false card, so you turn it over. You reveal the 7 of clubs, and you say, I had a feeling I'd meet a Gemini, but not only that, but I had a feeling that your lucky card would be the 7 of clubs. You might not believe me, so this isn't actually a card, it's a little envelope. So you reveal the envelope, open it up and have the spectator take the card out, and of course it's a direct hit for the lucky card. You want to pause there to make them think that's the end of the trick, and then you say, so anything along the lines of, and have you ever heard of the expression that something is written in the stars, or it's fate and unavoidable and was always going to be? They have, and you say, and that's the kind of feeling I had, that you would end up with a 7 of clubs and that you would be a Gemini, and I was so sure of it, I didn't bring the other cards with me. And you just turn them all over to reveal that they're all blank. I caught that one because I'm a professional. And there you go. Everything can now be examined here. And even the ones in their pocket. Sometimes, do remember your spectator has cards in their pocket. I have let people go home and then realise that my deck is missing a few cards. So make sure you get your blank cards back. But even the ones in their pocket are blank as well, which is quite a cool thing if they come to bring those out as well. It seems even more baffling. And there you go. That is the mechanics and the workings of the Zodiac trick.